First tonight on Our News Live at 7, on the ground, Our News anchor and senior producer Candino Knowles joins us live from South Florida at one of the area's largest polling precincts. Plus, across the country, Bahamian Americans living on the U.S. West Coast talk about their voting experience and how they feel the election could impact the Bahamas. And back here in the capital, a late-night altercation turns deadly. We've got the details from police. And then in our news at 7:30, our Berthany McDermott talks to Bahamians studying at American universities about safety concerns once election results come in. All that and more. Our News Live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to Our News Live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Marlena Leonard, in for Candino Knowles, who's on assignment. Well, voters across America have had their say in the most unprecedented race in history. Polls opened across the United States this morning, welcoming millions of people to decide their next president. It is undoubtedly the most stark difference in the choice for presidency we've seen, with key races for the U.S. House and Senate as Democrats and Republicans fight to hold on to power. Voters are deciding between Harris's vision of hope, a focus on the future and women's rights, versus Trump's promise of a stronger economy. As polls close across multiple states, Our News anchor and senior producer Candino Knowles is live on the ground in South Florida at one of the area's largest polling precincts. And Candino, what a day this has been. What has it been like for you to be there in person?
Listen, it's exciting times on the ground here. We are in Miami Gardens, and to your point, it is one of the largest polling precincts. Behind me, North Dade Regional Library. We were here earlier today as voters were trickling in. The weather conditions were mixed all day, but we saw voters still trying to make it in to cast their votes. In fact, just before air, campaign workers for some of the local races we told you about earlier this week were telling folks who were still coming in, you got a minute, you got 2 minutes, but every vote counts. We wanted to see what was happening in other polling precincts, so we went to places in Broward, also here in Dade. We went to a very historic city and connected greatly to the Bahamas, West Park, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that later on. But I can tell you that even in those areas, we saw people coming out to vote, to make their voices heard. In fact, while those folks were coming out, so much more, millions of Americans actually participated in early voting. We spoke with one Bahamian who actually also participated in the early voting and shares with us what he believes is driving the Bahamian diaspora to vote.
To be able to be a black man or African American or Bahamian descent in the United States as American voting, others had to go through the same process that I'm going through to say, hey, people of color need to vote, because it wasn't always the case, and fought for that.
Sean Jones is a proud son of the Bahamas, resident in the United States for 30 years, moving from Nassau as a teenager with Ackland's roots. Now a member of the Miramar Economic Advisory Board, this election feels personal to him. Healthcare costs and immigration to racial injustice and incarceration rates, Jones says race is a defining factor and drives his commitment to vote.
You know, me coming back or visiting the Bahamas, I've been pulled over once or twice, nothing major, but still, once or twice with a police officer, I didn't have that anxiety. So, coming back to the United States, it's almost like you put yourself in a different mindset to say, okay, I can adapt, I can adjust, but I must follow certain guidelines. Regardless of me being American, I'm a black American.
And Jones isn't alone. Many share similar experiences which shape their views on this election. Another critical issue, voter suppression. In response, Souls to the Polls, led by religious leaders nationwide, helps congregations get to the ballot box. One of those leaders is Pastor Matthew Allen of the Kingdom Minded Fellowship Center in Broward County.
And so you hear folks say, I'm not getting involved because Jesus is going to fix it. And when his government, well, where you going to be when his government comes? We're talking about right here, right now. We need to really teach our people, get them to see and understand your voice is valuable.
Pastor Allen, whose roots stretch back to Nassau and Inagua, says the black community has a lot at stake. It's not just about voting, more than it is about making informed choices.
But it's imperative that we as a people search the thing out for ourselves. You see, I don't just go with you because you're black. that doesn't cut it. Let me see what your policies are. Let me see how beneficial it is to my children's children and the future.
No matter the outcome, for Allen and Jones, this moment to choose honors the legacy trailblazers who helped to build South Florida.
We cannot dishonor or discredit the sacrifices that were made just because we're in a society now that we have it. We should never take it for granted. There are people that have died in order for people of color like myself to be in the position that I'm in.
And Marlena, let me tell you, that sentiment that you heard there from Jones, that is something that we've been hearing consistently since we've been on the ground. In fact, when we went to West Park, which I told you about earlier, we met another Bahamian who is a leader in that community, and she shared with us also how her heritage has helped push her campaign. Now, you have to stay tuned to Our News at 7:30 for more on that, but for now, from Miami Gardens, reporting for Our News, I'm Candino Knowles.
Thanks so much for that, Candino. That's our Candino Knowles reporting for us live tonight from South Florida on this historic day for U.S. democracy. Well, we've been following the perspective of Bahamians in Florida, but of course there are Bahamians across the United States. Tonight, we're talking to two who are currently California residents.
This is an election that is very important. I know they say it every year, this is the election of our lifetime, but this election is very important. And y'all Bahamians would like to go to Miami on y'all visa, that's at risk.
Ellis opted for early voting, but says he made the choice to vote in person instead of mail-in after hearing reports of ballot boxes being set on fire.
As an informed voter, I do my research and I fill out my ballot before I go to the ballot box. And I make sure that I vote for every single thing on the ballot and make sure my voice is heard.
Further north in San Francisco, Bahamian American Corey Lunn also opted to cast his vote early and in person. He says he's hopeful for a president to come in who can do good things for the U.S.
We rely a lot on the U.S., especially for imports, and if their economy is weak, right, wrong, or different, our economy is weak. People aren't spending money. They're not traveling. And number one industry is tourism. So, it's twofold where...
Now in Virginia for a work trip, he went for an early morning visit to Washington, D.C., sending us this footage of the nation's capital city early this afternoon. While things still looked quiet, Lunn noted the amount of barricades set up preventing close approach to certain areas. When asked about safety concerns when the results come in, Lunn tells us,
I feel like no matter who wins, there's going to be half of America most likely that's going to be very upset. And we saw what happened January 6th.
For Ellis, he's not so concerned.
They can do whatever it is they want to do. We got Joe Biden in the White House right now. So we don't have to worry about the president not calling the National Guard when these people decide to do something crazy.
Well, while there was less concern in California, which is often regarded as a blue state, for those in more divided states, the questions of possible unrest after election results roll in are lingering. But Bahamian American community leader Yolanda Cash Jackson says she's hopeful for a peaceful end to a historic process.
The American people will do the right thing, and that I pray for a peaceful transfer of power on either side. Whether it be former President Trump or whether it be Vice President Harris. I have to believe that democracy will win by a peaceful transfer. I mean, I don't expect a big concern, but I can tell you that there's already been reports of threats. And that's very concerning.
Well, we have a lot more to get to tonight, but first, it's time for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by in the Weather Center. Greg?
Yeah, thanks, Marlene, and happy Tuesday evening, everybody. We are still tracking Rafael, which is just to the south of us, well, south of Cuba. But Rafael is close enough to give us some rain bands, and we're starting to feel some of those with that moisture spreading across us. Mostly cloudy outside our studios. 80 degrees is our current temperature. Winds out of the east-southeast at 20 miles per hour, and that's really cranking up out there. We're getting some higher gusts out there. 77 degrees is what it feels like on the outside. Temperatures right now, it's 79 in Freeport, Marshall, Abaco, 81 in Alistown. We pick up 80 in Great Harper Key here in the capital, 82 Nichols Town Andros, Governor's Harbor, 81 into the Central Bahamas, 82 Kemps Bay, Georgetown, pair of 81s, Arthurstown, Cat Island, Copen Townsend, Salvador, and in Deadman's Key, you guys are 83. And Southeast Bahamas, more low to 80s here, but 83s in Duncantown, Ragged Island, Delectable Bay. 82 is in Colonel Hill, Crooked Island, Abrahams Bay, Providenciales, Turks and Caicos Islands, 80. Matthewtown, Inagua, you are the warm spot at 84. Satellite radar composite. This is Rafael. Current position places Rafael still a tropical storm at 19.1 north, 79.6 west. Winds are up to 70 miles per hour with gusts higher than that, and its movement is towards the northwest at 15 miles per hour. Rafael will continue to be moving towards that direction, but some of that moisture is moving across us, so we're starting to see some showers and some thunderstorms associated with that system moving across our area. But the system is expected to strengthen to a Category 1 hurricane by tomorrow, so we are going to see some increasing winds mostly across the northwest and central Bahamas, with the rain showers continuing. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us, look at your extended forecast, and we'll tell you more about where Rafael is going later on in Newscast.
Still to come on Our News, the country's latest homicide unfolded last night after an argument on Augusta Street turned fatal. And a judge reserving his decision on whether or not a police officer accused of raping a woman will be released on bail. The details coming up when Our News returns.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
Base Officer Barry. Transfer of inmate 37, TJ Davis, is to be handled cautiously and expeditiously. Inmate and those affiliated with him are not to be trusted. At first sign of any suspicious behavior, contact backup immediately. Do you copy, Officer Barry? Officer Barry, do you copy? Inspect. I'm not reaching him.
I want APBs, patrol cars, wanted posters, whatever it takes, and tell the public we got $10,000 for whoever could turn them into us.
Put the word out on the street. I got $20,000 right now for any man who could bring them to me. Go clean this up.
Right, Jeff? Let's head out.
When money's sick, but the mind coming. When money's sick, but the mind coming.
Hey, it's your boy Charlie Bahama, and a lot of people out there say they don't understand me. So I have Adelso here who's going to interpret everything I say. So you're going to watch Charlie Bahama from Cuba this week.
Van a ver el programa del show de Bahama, de Charlie Bahama desde Cuba.
And we're going to be going to Peñales, we're going to be going to Trinidad, we're going to be going all throughout Havana.
So van a verlo, fuimos a Viñales, a Trinidad y todo en La Habana.
On Cable Bahamas. Charlie Bahama Show.
Long Island is the best kept secret.
Join us as we count down the Rev Up Top 7.
And you'll never be the one.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the Our News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
My name is Trevi Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. I feel
to Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. Let's do show. It was a busy Monday night around the NBA for our Bahamian national team standouts. DeAndre Ayton had another double-double, his 6th in 7 games, and led the Portland Trail Blazers to a 118-100 win over the New Orleans Pelicans. He shot 9 for 14 from the field and made his only 3-point attempt. Buddy Hield continues to be a leader for the Golden State Warriors offense, even with Steph Curry back in the lineup. Hield scored 20 points in the Warriors' 125-112 win over the Washington Wizards. Eric Gordon scored 10 points for the Philadelphia 76ers in their 118-116 loss to his former team, the Phoenix Suns. Kai Jones and the LA Clippers won 113-104 over the San Antonio Spurs. The run towards March Madness officially began as several Bahamians made their debuts in college basketball. VJ Edgecombe made his first appearance for the Baylor Bears in a rematch of the 2021 National Championship game. Edgecombe scored 4 and his 8th-ranked Bears lost 101-63 to the 6th-ranked Gonzaga Bulldogs. AJ Storr made his debut for the top-ranked Kansas Jayhawks. He scored 5 and the Jayhawks beat the Howard Bison 87-57. Roma Dean scored 3 points and grabbed 6 rebounds for Fordham University in their 92-60 loss to St. John's. Over in Paris, France at the AFLAC We Play Showcase, Coach Yo and her 20th-ranked Ole Miss team nearly had the upset of the day in a 68-66 loss to number 3 USC.
I thought our team fought. I thought our team competed for 40 minutes. They definitely wanted to win.
That'll do it for Our Sports. Stay tuned to Our News at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
Thanks, Ronaldo. Well, police have another homicide investigation on their hands. They were called to the country's latest killing just after 11 last night. That's when a man was killed on Augusta Street, just south of South Street, near the Magistrates Court complex. Second officer in charge of the Northwestern Division, Superintendent Renardo Green, picks up the details from there.
Upon arrival at Augusta Street, police received preliminary information that 2 males were in an argument. As a result of this argument, the argument became a physical altercation where an instrument or an object was introduced into this altercation, resulting in one of the males hitting the other in the area of the head. As a result, EMS was contacted, and upon arrival and examining the body, no signs of life was indicated.
A police superintendent accused of raping a woman remains behind bars as a judge considers his bail application. Prosecutors say Kyle Capron raped a 25-year-old woman in a police car on October 23rd. Capron was formally charged on October 28th and denied bail. Prosecutor Tashura Ambrose asked Justice Neil Braithwaite to keep Capron in custody over concerns that he would interfere with his accuser. Capron's lawyer, Bjorn Ferguson, argued that the court could impose conditions to allay those concerns. Justice Neil Braithwaite has reserved his decision. When Our News comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as millions of American voters headed to the polls today. And Tropical Storm Rafael continues its trek across the Caribbean, Cayman and Cuba both bracing for impact. We have the details when Our News returns.
My name is Atreyu Williams. I've been a Aliv Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on the services, so I was very grateful that the Aliv fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remotely when I'm from home. The internet is a very important aspect of my job and my life. My name is Atreyu Williams, and the future is home with Aliv Fiber.
Bulk up your business and communication with parents, students, and staff in seconds with Aliv Business Bulk SMS messaging. This is the perfect tool to keep you connected and easily send important updates, event reminders, and emergency alerts. Keep your campus informed and connected with bulk SMS messaging from Aliv Business. The right choice for fast, reliable communication. For more information, contact the experts.
Grand Bahama is home to a unique economic arrangement, with that arrangement between government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority under scrutiny as tensions persist.
It's not our direct responsibility to carry out these other things that people think we should be doing.
We need this to be dealt with quicker than quicker and sooner than sooner.
I have a vision for Grand Bahama, and my vision is actually bigger than my grandfather's ever was.
Watch City in Focus, the story of Freeport with Italia Hall, starting August 7th, only on RTV. Candino Notes here, and thank you so much for watching. Be sure and hit that follow button if you want to see more stories like this. Be sure and follow all of the Our News social media pages. And hey, don't forget, turn on your notifications so you never miss out on top stories from the team you already trust.
This holiday season, Our News and Easy Car Sales want to put you in a brand new electric ride.
Each week, tune into Our News at 7 and 7:30 for clues to questions about easy car sales, electric vehicles, and Generation E. Head over to our website. This is Our News. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. Millions of American voters headed to the polls today to choose between the two presidential candidates who were neck and neck in the polls. Zachary Goldman reports.
Polls opened across the U.S. on Tuesday for Americans to decide between Democratic candidate Kamala Harris and Republican nominee Donald Trump. It caps a dizzying campaign that included 2 assassination attempts, 34 felony convictions.
I revere this office, but I love my country more.
And a sitting president stepping aside.
We have momentum.
So that his vice president could step up.
You feel it?
After billions of dollars in political spending and weeks of frenetic campaigning this fall, the outcome of the contest remains clouded in uncertainty. The apparent dead heat in each of the 7 battleground states reflects deep divisions nationwide that only have grown starker during a fiercely competitive race.
If Lion Kamala gets 4 more years instead of a golden age, America will instead be plunged into a dark age.
Trump has employed increasingly dark and apocalyptic rhetoric on the campaign trail.
This is someone who is unstable, obsessed with revenge.
Harris has warned that a second Trump term would threaten the very underpinnings of American democracy. No matter who wins the White House, history will be made. Trump would become the first convicted felon elected to the nation's highest office.
Are we ready to fight for it?
Harris would become the first woman to be elected president, as well as the first black woman and Asian American to win the White House.
Bless the United States of America.
A lightning strike on a church in Uganda killed at least 14 people and injured 34 as they gathered for prayers on Saturday. In an ex-post, police said the incident occurred in northern Uganda as the victims gathered for worship. They did not identify the nationalities of the victims, but the camp and others in the region mostly host refugees from South Sudan who fled during a bloody civil war that gripped the country shortly after its independence in 2011. And the 18th named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season gained strength this morning after forming in the Caribbean on Monday. Tropical storm Rafael was forecast to grow steadily as it turned past Jamaica's west coast on a path for Cuba. A hurricane warning was in effect for the Cayman Islands and a hurricane watch was issued for parts of Cuba as Rafael continued moving northwest. Western Cuba is expected to be in the bullseye on Wednesday. Still to come in Our News, Today in History. Find out interesting facts about the day that was November 5th. And then in Our News at 7:30, our Delvardo Emmanuel was on the ground for Demolition Day as the Shantytown Action Task Force tore down more illegal structures. That's coming up when Our News returns.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the faces of the Grand Bahama Port Authority helping to maintain infrastructure, grow the economy, and bring a better quality of life.
Our mission statement is to better the life.
Because I have to be a part of Grand Bahama.
Join me, Italia Hall, every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Our News as we share these inspiring stories of Freeport. Stay with the team you already trust.
My name is Trevor Williams. I've been a live fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentleman that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on the services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remotely when I'm from home. The internet is a very important aspect of my job and my life. My name is Trey Williams, and the future is home with a live fiber.
Bulk up your business and communication with parents, students, and staff in seconds with Aliv Business Bulk SMS messaging. This is the perfect tool to keep you connected and easily send important updates, event reminders, and emergency alerts. Keep your campus informed and connected with bulk SMS messaging from Aliv Business. The right choice for fast, reliable communication. For more information, contact the experts.
Candino Notes here, and thank you so much for watching. Be sure and hit that follow button if you want to see more stories like this. Be sure and follow all of the Our News social media pages. And hey, don't forget, turn on your notifications so you never miss out on top stories from the team you already trust.
This holiday season, Our News and Easy Car Sales want to put you in a brand new electric ride.
Each week, tune into Our News at 7 and 7:30 for clues to... On this day in Bahamian history, on the 5th of November 2020, a Rolling Stone article about artist Tony McKay, also known as Exuma, was published. McKay was born on Cat Island in 1942. He was a musician whose distinctive style mixed carnival, junkanoo, calypso, and traditional Bahamian ballads. In 1978, McKay was awarded a British Empire Medal by Queen Elizabeth II for his contribution to Bahamian music and culture. Fast forward to 2021, then newly elected Prime Minister Philip Davis said he was not minded to allow oil drilling in the Bahamas and was completely opposed to oil exploitation in the country. He was speaking to reporters after his delegation returned from the United Kingdom, where the COP26 summit and other meetings were held. Before being elected to office, Davis had said he supported an agreement struck with the Bahamas Petroleum Company to exploit the natural resource for the benefit of the Bahamian people, if found to exist in commercial quantities. He also previously acknowledged that his law firm had briefly represented BPC. Then, in 2023, a blaze destroyed 80% of the Cool Acres Shantytown in eastern New Providence. The blaze came 2 days before the shantytown was set to be demolished by authorities. Ministry of Works Buildings Control Officer Craig Delancey said many of the buildings in the community burned to the ground. He says the blaze also came hours after officials had been inspecting the illegal community earlier that morning. To watch that story again and for all of today's top stories, you can visit ournews.bs. Well, that does it for Our News at 7. Joining us now is our Italia Hall with the latest headlines. Italia, it may be the U.S. election, but I feel like almost every Bahamian probably has their eyes on it tonight.
Yes, they sure do, but I guess time will tell.
Only time
what
will
the
tell.
answer will be. All right, thanks so much, Marlena. Well, coming up, Bahamians studying in the U.S. expressed concerns over election results. Demolition resumes at the Tiwa Shantytown, and our Candino Knowles continues his election coverage on the ground in South Florida. Here are your latest headlines. Bahamians living in Florida are closely watching the U.S. elections. First tonight on Our News Live at 7:30. Our Candino Knowles, senior producer and anchor, live from the state of Florida as America prepares to welcome a new president. Also, hear why Bahamian students living abroad believe the election's outcome could be pivotal. Plus, we speak exclusively with a Bahamian recruiter living in the Centennial State. She shares this U.S. election is the hardest yet to predict. Straight ahead. And later, it's Diplomatic Week on the island of Grand Bahama. The Foreign Affairs Minister says it's all a part of showing off what the Northern Island has to offer. The story when Our News Live at 7:30 continues.
This holiday season, Our News and Easy Car Sales want to put you in a brand new electric ride.
Each week, tune into Our News at 7 and 7:30 for clues to questions about easy car sales, electric vehicles, and Generation E. Head over to our website, ournews.bs,
for your chance to answer weekly trivia and enter to win. It's simple. Answer correctly and you're automatically entered for your chance to win a brand new electric vehicle.
I love my EV. I am Generation E.
I am Generation E. I am Generation E.
And I am Generation E.
Inmate Corporation is on the move, day by day, panel by panel. Our commitment to sustainable energy becomes more real. With each milestone, Inmate redefines what is possible. Not only are the Lucaya solar power projects on the island of Grand Bahama growing in scale, they are setting a new standard for energy independence in the Bahamas. These state-of-the-art solar farms at the Fairfield and Devon sites, once completed, will harness the power of the sun to generate 9.5 megawatts of clean, sustainable energy. Inmate is on the move as a beacon of progress and innovation that is rapidly transforming our energy landscape. Witness the future of sustainable energy unfolding on the island of Grand Bahama as Inmate Corporation shines brighter than ever. Inmate Corporation, powering your world, powering your future.
Welcome to our news. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Natalia Hall. Well, all eyes are on the United States tonight as voters in 7 battleground states will decide the next American president. With 75 million people, roughly 1/3 of the American population participating in early voting, issues like immigration, the economy, abortion, and reproductive health on the minds of voters choosing the next occupant of the White House. Polls close in 6 states at 7 p.m. and we're just hours away from finding out who is America's choice. Well, tonight we're spotlighting an historic Bahamian community in South Florida, home to one of the largest Bahamian populations in the U.S. Our news anchor and senior producer, Candino Knowles, visited a polling precinct in the area. Candino, what can you tell us?
Yes, Natalia, I can tell you that you're right. The polls have closed here at 7 o'clock. We're still at North Dade Regional Library, which is ground zero in the city of Miami Gardens. We were here up until the last minute, but I can tell you we have traveled from Broward to Dade. We ended up in West Park today. Reason we went there is because there is a massive Bahamian population. We met a leader in that community who told us her sentiment about this election, but also how she was able to use her heritage in helping to push voters to the polls.
I have a strong heritage, the Clark family and the Cohen family, Ferguson, Thompson, Dames, all of those good people are my relatives in the Bahamas currently.
On this election day, Commissioner Dr. Katrina Touchstone proudly embraces her Bahamian roots, sharing her heritage as an Exuma and San Salvador descendant. She tirelessly encouraged voters, especially within the historic Bahamian community, to make their voices heard. We caught up with her in the historic and mostly Bahamian community of Carver Ranches.
Where we're standing right now is a section of West Park called Carver Ranches, in which when our people migrated over from the Bahamas for opportunity to help build up Miami, they came over here in droves. So they were looking for opportunity to live the American dream, in which this area, Carver Ranches, was created for black home ownership back in 1940. So those individuals were able to come here, which was a patch of opportunity for black people at a time in America where there was no civil rights at that time.
Generations of Bahamians laid the groundwork here for leaders like Touchstone. Today, she and others honor their legacy by voting.
We want opportunities for entrepreneurship, home ownership, affordable housing, just the things that the American promise has promised the people who migrate over to America. So we want to support candidates that will help to improve our overall quality of life.
West Park is a vibrant Caribbean melting pot with large populations of Bahamians, Jamaicans, Haitians, and others, all uniting in shared aspirations. Commissioner Joy Smith, a part of the Jamaican diaspora, emphasizes interconnected community issues.
Other Caribbean, Trinidadians, you name it, are here in the city. And I want to continue to get this community together.
This early voter, Cynthia Strawn Saunders, an American of Bahamian descent, has deep roots in Carver Ranches, tracking back to her grandmother Ethelyn Bowles of Cat Island.
The oldest house in Carver Ranches, my grandmother purchased in 1941 for $598. That was a lot of money back then.
Saunders says she cast her vote to honor the sacrifices of Bahamians like her grandmother made for a brighter future here.
They came, they saw, they purchased, they lived, and now, as we stand right here on this property, this is their foundation that they laid for us.
As a Bahamian, we are very strong and proud people, right? And we don't take no for an answer. So that has made me very determined to see about the legacy that my forefathers have set forth here in the city of West Park and the subdivision of Carver Ranches.
Listen, that same sentiment, as I said earlier in the show, that has been shared consistently. That sentiment also helping us to understand the influence of Bahamians in this election and why it's important for us to be a part of the history making in this country. We heard from another gentleman earlier in this show. His name is Sean Jones. He has come out to show us support. He is a board member of the Miramar Economic Business Advisory Council. And Sean, if you can join us and explain to us, when you see stories like Touchstone just now, how does it make you feel?
Well, definitely gives me a sense of pride to see that the legacy that our predecessors created, that the generation following that has taken initiative in pushing it forward. The foundation is set. Yeah. We just need to unify a little bit more, come together and understand that as a Bahamian diaspora, we can make things happen in America.
And speaking of uniting, that's one of the things that we heard in that story just a minute ago, that the communities, the diasporan populations are all uniting to make their voices heard. I know that's something that you and I talked about. How are you connecting with people who are from the Bahamas?
Well, first, personality, just be friendly. As a matter of fact, I met a Bahamian descendant today. She said her grandparents are from Cat Island, Miss Ernestine Ferguson. I think we just need to get out there and let it be known that we are here and collaborate together. I think the time is now.
All right. Thank you so much. Sean Jones, who is a Miramar Board of Economic Advisory and Development. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Natalia, we'll send it back to you. For now, reporting from Miami Gardens in South Florida for Our News, I'm Kendino Knowles.
All right, great reporting, Kendino. Thanks so much for that. That's our Kendino Knowles reporting for us live tonight from South Florida. His coverage of the historic U.S. elections will continue tomorrow as he gets reaction to today's elections. Well, Bahamians across the United States are witnessing the historic U.S. election. And while they say there's excitement in the air, there's also concern about the outcome. Bethany McDermott has that angle.
Millions of Americans headed to the polls today to decide who will take the country forward for the next 4 years in an historic election. Amid all the anxiousness are thousands of Bahamian students taking it all in. Reagan Russell is a senior at Howard University in Washington, D.C. The HBCU is Vice President Kamala Harris's alma mater, and her campaign headquarters has been set up there.
It's a bunch of security around the area, so I know Secret Service is probably already roaming the streets around my dorm and where I live. Campus is actually blocked off right now.
Russell is also a first-time voter there. She says while the energy is high, many have safety concerns, fearful of a repeat of January 6th.
A lot of students, including myself, are feeling a little anxious about just the safety aspect, especially looking to, the 2020 election with when they stormed the Capitol and things like that. And so, there's a lot of emotions, but it's a really energizing time to be around here.
Former Our News intern Felina Stiles is at Georgia State University in Atlanta, and Marcus Morris is at Midwestern State University in Texas. They say there are similar concerns in their cities.
They are concerned of, if this person wins, then that means that my rights are going to be taken away. Or if this person wins, then I will not be able to live the life that I want to live. So that's really what's going on here.
A little nervous to see what the reaction will be,
But being in the city, I feel like it's mostly an urban area. So I feel like I will be safe. But I do think that whatever the outcome may be in Georgia, further out, may be a little more scary.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
All right, thanks so much for that, Berthany. Well, a Bahamian professor living abroad has made it her mission to educate her Colorado students about the importance of today's historic elections. Let's take a look.
Because I am in a democratic state, everyone I know, of course, around me would be saying the Democrat will win.
Alejandra Pinder, a Bahamian Afro-Caribbean recruiter and professor who's lived in the U.S. for over a decade and currently resides in Colorado, says she's been educating her Bahamian American students about the U.S. election process. As for the issues that matters most to Bahamians living in Colorado,
we had some Bahamians that just moved here to Colorado. They served in the Army, in the U.S. Army years ago. And so they want all of those residential benefits. But then on the other side, I also have some students, saying, it's my moral belief. I don't necessarily agree with abortion.
But who do these students think is the best candidate for the job?
But I actually had them say to me that they prefer voting for a third person versus voting for either or party. They looked at how, could a woman actually lead me? And then on the other end of it, you have some of them saying, well, look at what he said about look at what former President Trump said about our countries. He's not going to protect the Caribbean countries. And some of them even said, depending on who wins, they want to move back home, right? And so those are the things that I've been getting.
So based on everything that you've been getting, in your view, who do you think will win this race?
Right now, I would say it's literally, I've never seen an election where I was unable to determine or project who would win.
Well, now turning to weather, as we're still enjoying cool temperatures across the country, meteorologist Greg Thompson joins us now for a first look at weather. Greg.
Yeah, cooler temperatures and breezy conditions, windy actually conditions continuing, and we're starting to see some of that moisture moving across the islands from what is now has been upgraded at 7:20 this evening. It's now a Hurricane Rafael. 79 degrees is our current temperature, mostly cloudy skies. It's still on the breezy side. East winds at 21 miles per hour, and your field side temperature is at 77 degrees. As I said, Hurricane Rafael, 7:20, 19.4 north, 79.9 west. Winds are now at 75 miles per hour with gusts to 86 miles per hour. And this system will continue to track towards the northwest, impacting the Cayman Islands tonight and moving across western Cuba by tomorrow. And you notice some of this moisture now moving across us. The tight pressure gradient between that and high pressure to the north will keep us windy. We're going to see some of those rain bands move across us, but the system will be moving away from us. That's a quick check on Rafael. We'll tell you what's going to happen with Rafael and a look at the extended forecast still to come.
Still to come on Our News, a serious crime. Police are on the search for the person or persons responsible for the sexual assault of a minor. We have the latest, and demolition resumes at the Tiwa Shantytown. Our Delvardo Emmanuel has the story when Our News continues.
This holiday season, the Ministry of Energy and Transport is bringing light back to Bahamian homes. Through our partnership with Bahama's Power and Light, we're offering the Merry and Bright Holiday Reconnection Program, so you can pay as little as 10% of your outstanding balance and get reconnected. Just in time for the holidays. Pay a little, light up a lot. The Ministry of Energy and Transport is committed to making sure no family is left in the dark this season.
Grand Bahama is home to a unique economic arrangement, with that arrangement between government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority under scrutiny as tensions persist.
It's not our direct responsibility to carry out these other things that people think we should be doing.
We need this to be dealt with quicker than quicker and sooner than sooner.
I have a vision for Grand Bahama, and my vision is actually bigger than my grandfather's ever was.
Watch City in Focus, the story of Freeport with Italia Hall, starting August 7th only on RTV.
Base Officer Barry, transfer of inmate 37, TJ Davis, is to be handled cautiously and expeditiously. Inmate and those affiliated with him are not to be trusted. At first sign of any suspicious behavior, contact backup immediately. Officer Barry, do you copy? Inspect. I'm not reaching him.
Disturbing video circulated on social media over the weekend. The video allegedly shows a group of teenage boys involved in an alleged sexual assault of another young man. Police press liaison Chief Superintendent Kristen Skipping says authorities are working swiftly to resolve this matter.
I wish to inform that presently none of the individuals involved are in custody. We have some idea of the individuals involved, and we are arduously looking for them and hope to bring closure to this matter very, very soon. I wish to take this opportunity to encourage parents to monitor their children, monitor what they watch, who they hang out with, what they are exposed to, as the content in the video is disturbing and inappropriate.
A 31-year-old music teacher accused of molesting a mentally disabled teenager has been granted $9,900 bail. Wayne Williams has to surrender his travel documents, check in with police 3 times a week, and stay away from the witnesses. Williams is accused of having relations with the 17-year-old on January 1st, 2024 and May 5th, 2024. As a result of the allegations, Williams has been suspended from St. Francis and St. Joseph's School. Well, it was demolition day for yet another New Providence shantytown as the Shantytown Action Task Force tore down more illegal structures at the Tiwa Shantytown on Calpern Road. Delvardo Emmanuel reports.
When we came this morning, all persons have already evacuated the area. They were just standing around.
The sounds of heavy machinery, wood snapping, windows shattering filled the air during the demolition of the Tiwa Shantytown. It's the latest illegal community to be torn down in the country. Head of the Shantytown Action Task Force, Superintendent Stephen Carey, says dozens of homes will be demolished.
This community at the time have about 113 structures. Hopefully by the end of the day we would have gotten through half of them.
Authorities say this isn't about targeting any group, but rather preserving the Crown land for its intended use for agriculture. As residents and neighbors stood by helpless, my cameraman Darnell and I spoke to one of them. Here's what he had to say.
If they did not demolish the houses, it would have been good. But since it already happened, there's nothing we could do now.
Now, according to officials, this is the final demolition process being carried out for the year. As for what's next,
we'll start fresh in January.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Delvardo Emmanuel.
All right, thanks so much, Delvardo. Well, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is celebrating Diplomatic Week on Grand Bahama. This year's theme focuses on climate, trade, and cultural diplomacy. The week will feature a series of bilateral meetings and panel discussions between Bahamian diplomats and international counterparts. Participants will also visit various sites, including schools and industrial companies, all in an effort to foster deeper connections. Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell shared details about the week's activities.
The Prime Minister comes in on Tuesday to open the conference. Then there will be discussions with foreign diplomats about various policy issues that we support and want to affect, one of which is climate change issues and the whole question of rising sea levels and temperature, and the issue of reparatory justice, that about slavery. So, and then thirdly, how do we support Bahamians abroad?
Mitchell also expressing the importance of hosting Diplomatic Week in Grand Bahama.
We want to support Grand Bahama to show off a city which we think is a great place in the Bahamas. Its story is untold. It's lost population in the last 10 years. We need to do things to support it. This is the third time that I have, as minister, done something like this, and it's always to show that Grand Bahama is a special place in the Bahamas that needs to be supported by the Bahamas government, and we continue to do so.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
Coming up in sports, we got a lot of hoops action. We start in the NBA, then we head to some season debuts in college hoops.
And Greg is back with your extended weather when our news returns. Stay with us.
Base Officer Barry, transfer of Inmate 37, TJ Davis, is to be handled cautiously and expeditiously. Inmate and those affiliated with him are not to be trusted. At first sign of any suspicious behavior, contact backup immediately. Do you copy, Officer Barry? Officer Barry, do you copy? Inspect. I'm not reaching him.
I want APBs, patrol cars, wanted posters, whatever it takes, and tell the public we got $10,000 for whoever could turn them into us.
Put the word out on the street. I got $20,000 right now for any man who could bring them to me. Go clean this up.
Right, Jeff? Let's head out.
When money's sick, but the mind coming. When money's sick, but the mind coming.
Hey, it's your boy Charlie Bahama, and a lot of people out there say they don't understand me. So I have Adelso here who's going to interpret everything I say. So you're going to watch Charlie Bahama from Cuba this week.
Van a ver el programa del show de Bahama, de Charlie Bahama desde Cuba.
And we're going to be going to Peñales, we're going to be going to Trinidad, we're going to be going all throughout Havana.
So van a verlo, fuimos a Viñales, a Trinidad y todo en La Habana.
On Cable Bahamas. Charlie Bahama Show.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. Let's do show. It was a busy Monday night around the NBA for our Bahamian national team standouts. DeAndre Ayton had another double-double, his 6th in 7 games, and led the Portland Trail Blazers to a 118-100 win over the New Orleans Pelicans. He shot 9 for 14 from the field and made his only 3-point attempt. Buddy Hield continues to be a leader for the Golden State Warriors offense, even with Steph Curry back in the lineup. Hield scored 20 points in the Warriors' 125-112 win over the Washington Wizards. Eric Gordon scored 10 points for the Philadelphia 76ers in their 118-116 loss to his former team, Phoenix Suns. Kai Jones and the LA Clippers won 113-104 over the San Antonio Spurs. The run towards March Madness officially began as several Bahamians made their debuts in college basketball. VJ Edgecombe made his first appearance for the Baylor Bears in a rematch of the 2021 National Championship game. Edgecombe scored 4 and his 8th-ranked Bears lost 101-63 to the 6th-ranked Gonzaga Bulldogs. AJ Storr made his debut for the top-ranked Kansas Jayhawks. He scored 5 and the Jayhawks beat the Howard Bison 87-57. Roma Dean scored 3 points and grabbed 6 rebounds for Fordham University in their 92-60 loss to St. John's. Over in Paris, France at the AFLAC We Play Showcase, Coach Yo and her 20th-ranked Ole Miss team nearly had the upset of the day in a 68-66 loss to number 3 USC.
I thought our team fought. I thought our team competed for 40 minutes. They definitely wanted to win.
That'll do it for Our Sports. This is 10YS. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. Back to the studio.
When our news comes back from the break, light showers in the capital on this Tuesday. Greg is back with your extended weather forecast when our news returns. Stay with us.
Long Island is the best kept secret.
Join us as we count down the Rev Up Top 7.
And you'll never be the one.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the Our News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the faces of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, helping to maintain infrastructure, grow the economy, and bring a better quality of life.
Our mission statement is to better the lives.
Because I have to be a part of Grand Bahama.
Join me at Talia Hall every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Our News as we share these inspiring stories of Freeport. Stay with the team you already trust.
My name is Trevor Williams. I've been a Aliv Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on my services, so I was very grateful that the Aliv fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature.
This is our news. Welcome back. We now have Hurricane Rafael, which within the last half an hour, the National Hurricane Center, the Hunter aircraft flying through the system, confirmed that winds are now up to 75 miles per hour, and that system will continue on its northwesterly track, moving across the Cayman Islands as we speak, strengthening even further before it gets to the western portion of Cuba by tomorrow morning. We expect the system to be moving into the eastern Gulf of Mexico by Thursday and continuing as a Category 1 storm, but eventually it's going to be moving away from us. But you notice the rain bands associated with that. A lot of that moisture will be moving across us, so we're looking for some scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms with that. Also, the pressure gradient is very tight across us, so we are looking for some windy conditions over the next couple of days as the system continues to track towards the west and away from us. Eventually, it should be weakening by the time it gets to the Gulf states, Louisiana, to possibly even a tropical storm. But the system will continue, as I said, to bring us some showers and thunderstorms over the next couple of days. Boating forecasts, this is going to be a problem for us over the next several days as well. Small craft remain in port, rip currents high, east to southeast winds 20 to 25 knots in the northwest and central Bahamas. Very rough seas out there, up to 12 feet in east and northeasterly swells. And then in the southeast Bahamas, an advisory posted for you guys down there, east to southeast, 15 to 20 knots. They will be gusting high at times. Sea is very rough, 4 to 6, building up to 8 feet in some easterly swells. In your extended forecast, we will keep the showers in the forecast tomorrow. We have some gradual clearing on Thursday as the system pulls away from us. And that should continue into Friday, but another disturbance just to the northeast of the Leeward Islands will be moving into our area. That's likely to give us some showers by next week. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
So much, Craig. Well, this week, a group of local churches will officially form what they are calling a new movement. The movement, headed by Apostle Raymond Wells, is called Kingdom Apostolic Movement International, geared at equipping people for marketplace ministry. As the country continues to see rapid levels of crime, Wells says it's important.
This movement will give attention to the ascension gifts and equip the body of Christ and the kingdom of God for marketplace ministry. The Bible said that we must let our light so shine before men that they may see our good works and glorify our Father which is in heaven. I believe it's time for us to impact all spheres of dominion, all spheres. And I believe this movement is going to prepare men and women to do so.
The movement will launch this week, Thursday and Friday, at Living Waters Kingdom Ministries on Warren Street. He's inviting interested people to come and join the movement.
We encourage our Bahamian brothers and sisters to join us, lock in. You who feel you called to be an apostle, you need to be a part of this movement. You who feel you called to be a prophet, you need to be a part of this. You who feel that you're an evangelist and you want to be equipped to do the work of an evangelist, you need to be a part of this movement. Pastors and teachers need to be a part of this movement, because I believe those fivefold ascension gift is necessary for this time and season.
All right, with that, we thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.
Hi, and thank you for watching. I'm Natalia Hall. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications to see more content from the team you already trust.